Hi, this is Joe Quinn, Sefco Export Management Company. I'm here to add to our online videos. What I'm doing today is a page out of television journalism. Here in New York City, there's a TV show on New York One called In the Papers, where the correspondent would read out certain parts of articles in that day's newspapers to give people a gist of what's going on. And I thought I'd do a little bit of the same, but for the shipping industry, for the shipping world. And one of the publications that most people like to refer to is the Journal of Commerce. It's available online. You can see it at www.joc.com. Now, the Journal of Commerce latest edition, June 3rd, is right here. And on the front, it has something called 10 plus 2 equals now. Now, what is 10 plus 2 equals now? If you're an exporter, it doesn't necessarily affect you, but if you're an importer, it definitely does affect you. So let's go to the article, and I'll read out a few parts of it, and we'll explain it. On page 10, 10 plus 2, it starts out, 10 plus 2 equals now. It starts out saying, a deadline looms for importers who must put systems in place to meet customs data demands. They go on to say, a warning to any importers expecting the Obama administration to issue a last-minute reprieve from the regulations known as 10 plus 2, it's not going to happen. After more than 5 years of experimenting with data reporting, trade outreach, rulemaking, the Importer Security Filing rule took effect in January. That means that importers who have dawdled while hoping for a reprieve on these rules need to prepare now if they expect to be ready for the deadline. They go on to say, companies that can't provide the data customs wants by January 26th may face penalties that ISF critics fear could shut down some businesses and wound a recovering economy. In short, 10 plus 2 is coming, it's costly, and customs isn't turning the clock back. Now let's read on a little bit. They have an interview with the fellow who is in charge of the Secure Freight Initiative on behalf of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. His name is Richard DiNucci. They say, DiNucci has been Customs point man on the ISF rule, known as 10 plus 2 because it requires 10 security data elements from importers and 2 from carriers before importers' cargo is loaded aboard ship at a foreign port. Now, the article goes on and has a few graphics, and here you can see the graphics. All right, I'll read it to you. Adding up 10 plus 2. Data required by CBP, Customs and Border Protection, as of January 26, 2010. Importers. Number 1, manufacturer's name and address. 2, seller's name and address. 3, buyer's name and address. 4, ship to name and address. 5, the scheduled container stuffing location. 6, consolidator's name and address. 7, importer of record. 8, consignee identification number. 9, country of origin. 10, harmonized tariff schedule at minimum 6-digit level. In addition to that, the carriers are responsible for 2 data elements. Number 1, the vessel stow plan, and number 2, the container status message. Now, that's a lot of data, and to make a long story short, importers need this data before the cargo is even loaded at the point of origin in the overseas country. Now, the article goes on, they're talking about compliance. By the end of last week, Customs expected to pass the 1 million mark in total filings. Some 48,000 importers of record have made at least one ISF, Importer Security Filing. Error rates, filings that Customs rejected, started at 25 to 30%, but have settled to around 3%. But they go on in the article, it's nowhere close to enough. A third of the people who attended outreach events came away saying they didn't feel that they got what they needed to go off and file their ISF. There's not an understanding of the complexities of global trade on customs part to be able to write the rule in a way that business can comprehensively implement. Even though the companies, even the companies that are most aware of the 10+2 rule are still struggling to get timely, accurate, and complete data. Those are 3 things you absolutely must do to comply with ISF. Bottom line, they write here, timeliness has been a problem. Now they go on to interview the owner of a chemical company, a chemical importing company, and he goes on and says, it's not a problem when I'm buying direct from the manufacturer. Where the problem lies is when there will be a daisy chain of people involved. This is pretty common in the chemical business, meaning that very often people will buy from middlemen, and they really won't know where the product is originally coming from. He goes on to say, I do some business out of Russia, and sometimes it's like pulling teeth trying to get information from them in a timely manner. And he goes on to conclude, I'm going to have to insist that people are more timely with their information. That's all I can do. The article goes on to say, critics chastise customs for underestimating the cost importers will bear to comply. They go on, the most direct cost is the transaction fees that brokers and third parties charge for filing the security data. And the article continues, and toward the end it says, the ISF rule is only one part of a barrage of regulations that has U.S. importers hunkered down, Roden says. There is the Lacey Act amendment for wood products and the Consumer Product Safety Improvement Act that is added to the regulation of goods made for children. Some importers who are not dealing with 10+2 now, because it's something that won't harm them until next year, they figure that there are more pressing issues to address. But the article goes on to say, one of our members said that we're being nibbled to death. She said, it's like the fall of the Roman Empire. It didn't happen one day with a thud. It's happening gradually over time. So when do we know that all these regulatory requirements are going to destroy the competitiveness of the United States? We won't know that until we look in the rearview mirror. That's the problem with this, that we don't have a holistic approach to security or safety, so we're being nibbled to death. And at the end of the article, they say, what we can comment on is how difficult it is to get this information, especially when it's 24 hours prior to lading. We want to work with CBP to come up with a method that works better. So I would recommend, if possible, to log on to joc.com, read the article in its entirety. If you're a serious importer, I would recommend that you subscribe to the JOC like we do. But basically, Sefco, we work with customs brokers in all the major ports in the United States, and we'll work with you. If you're an importer, we'll work with you to gather all the information that you need, but you have to realize is that you can't wait to the last minute. If you know that you're going to be importing stuff into the United States, you must gather all this information first, and if you're late, there's the high likelihood of fines, penalties, and not good stuff. So that's the topic for today. 10+2 equals now from the Journal of Commerce. We'll continue a little bit with more news, analysis, but in the meantime, I just wanted to thank you for your paying attention, and if you have any questions about our services, please feel free to send us an email at info@sefco-export.com or log on to our website or give us a call. Our main telephone number is area code 718-268-6233. Appreciate your time and attention, and look forward to the next video. Have a great day.